History remembers what happened, but it is shaped by moments when everything could have turned another way. A decision, a journey, a single moment. This is where we explore them. When history turned. Lately I find myself thinking about simple things, like walking into a crowded market, without counting risks. Is there any reality where that's still ordinary?
There is a woman named Maria in a coastal city. She moves through a morning market as if the last decade were ordinary. She squeezes a lemon seller's hand, laughs with a busker, buys coffee from a stall that posts the morning's air quality and pathogen index on a small screen. Around her, people glance at discrete badges that flash green, amber, or red, but no one wears masks by default. Local clinics are open late, and small testing kiosks in plazas return results in minutes. A municipal alert pings on many phones. It reads like weather informative, procedural, not panicked. She boards a tram and taps a transit card that double checks a short health token. The tram's ventilation cycles update in real time from a municipal ledger. At a corner, a child receives a routine immunization in a pop-up clinic without lines or fanfare. The vaccine was ordered and dispatched automatically from a regional hub the night before. News feeds report a cluster in a neighboring province. Within hours, targeted travel advisories and rapid local screenings appear. Borders remain open with curated, time-limited checks, and large cultural events continue with layered, proportionate measures rather than blanket closures. She receives a short message. An early warning algorithm flagged an unusual cluster 2 towns over. A mobile response team arrives within 8 hours and performs rapid containment. By nightfall, the cluster is contained. By the next week, the data shows a limited, controlled event. The markets keep running.
That world feels almost ordinary, but you didn't say what changed to make it so. What is the hinge of that timeline? When did the divergence occur?
The observation stands. The system you see is real in that line. I can describe its mechanisms and timings, but pinpointing the moment requires correlating political, technological, and epidemiological changes. Do you want the earliest institutional moment or the technological breakthrough?
Start with the institutional moment, but give me clues. Was it a treaty, a scientist, a crisis that forced change?
There is a crisis in the story, but it is smaller in scale than later pandemics. It leads to a focused international response and a legal instrument that binds data sharing and rapid field deployment. The initial actors are a coalition of 5 middle-income countries, an influential philanthropic network, and an authoritative regional health agency. The first operational protocols are tested in the aftermath of that localized crisis.
Was the technology behind the rapid response novel, or did they reconfigure existing tools?
They primarily reorganized and standardized existing technologies, laboratory diagnostics, satellite communications, cold chain logistics, and paired them with interoperable legal agreements and sustained financing. The novel element is governance. Automatic data pipelines, pre-negotiated emergency dispatch protocols, and a regional rapid deployment corps with legal clearance to act across borders for a limited window. So the hinge is not a single lab breakthrough, but a political administrative decision to build a standing, networked response. Is that the moment the line splits?
Yes. In that timeline, a concentrated outbreak in the early 1970s, localized, politically visible, and proximate to major sea lanes, provoked a swift multilateral accord. The accord created a legally binding global health network 2 decades earlier than in our timeline, with 3 enforceable elements: a standing rapid response corps, mandatory interoperable surveillance data sharing, and prearranged logistics corridors for vaccines and countermeasures. Funding was ring-fenced by an international trust and linked to maritime insurance rebates, which aligned commercial incentives with public health.
To summarize the change, the network was institutionalized decades earlier, coupled to enforceable data protocols and prepositioned logistics. With that institutional backbone, response times compress from weeks to hours, and containment becomes the default outcome for most clusters. Let's walk it out. In the 1970s, after the localized crisis, the Accord builds the regional core and legal framework. In the 1980s, protocols are harmonized and training becomes routine across ports and airports. The 1990s see the addition of digital reporting standards. By the 2000s, standardized genomic surveillance is integrated into routine diagnostics. In the 2010s, the network runs coordinated mass vaccination drills and maintains stocks in distributed hubs.
Contrast that with our ARC. Institutional hesitancy delays binding agreements. Data remains fragmented through the 1990s and 2000s. Early genomic surveillance exists, but lacks interoperability, and the logistics pipeline for rapid global distribution is weaker. When a major novel respiratory virus appears in the 2000s, coordinated action is slower, and the result is systemic amplification across continents.
In the alternate present, routine life accommodates proportional public health layers, rapid tests in plazas, targeted advisories, and mobile teams. In our present, the same biological signals cascade into national lockdowns and global supply shocks because the administrative, legal, and logistical scaffolding was not in place earlier.
If the question was whether we could walk into a market without counting risks, the alternate timeline answers yes, because a relatively small political choice to institutionalize a network earlier reordered incentives, funding, and legal authority. That single institutional hinge shortened detection and delivery times enough that most outbreaks never became pandemics. The practical difference is ordinary life preserved without magic, only governance, logistics, and routine technical integration done earlier.
If this wasn't the only timeline you'd like to visit, subscribe.